there's no bigger occasion other than, I reckon, a World Cup final that you need to get up for than a Bledisloe match. And I've been really excited watching these new young crop of players and the new coaching, mate. They were sensational in the first test, and then second test, it was a tough game and made a few errors. But I'm really looking forward to this week.
You don't underestimate the fact the All Blacks are the greatest measuring stick in world rugby, and we play them more than anyone. So there's that test, and there's that huge trophy that means so much to us as well. So I think we thought, we'll get it back eventually at some stage, and then it's just grown and grown and grown. And I suppose the current crop can blame us for losing it back then and putting the pressure on them to win it back for us, unfortunately.
When it was a draw the first week, I was actually pretty happy with that, because it means you win twice at home, you can still win the Bledisloe. They got an amazing opportunity. You win 2 games on home soil, you win that Bledisloe Cup back, and it's going to be a highlight, I believe, of many of those guys' careers, and it's going to be massive for Australian rugby. And I think they can do it. Like winning in New Zealand has always been difficult. Eden Park, the record stands for itself. So they've got every opportunity to win. The way they're playing, that first test, they were the better side in my opinion, and just didn't get the job done. If they can minimise errors, especially that 10 minutes after half time, they can win both games. I played South Africa many times too. I only beat South Africa once over there. Like, you look at records of winning away from home in Test rugby. I don't know the numbers, but you look at the numbers, and I imagine the home team are way ahead. I think it's the support, it's the home crowd, it's travelling. It is just harder. And if you can answer the reason why it is so much harder, you might be able to help us turn around next year on opposition soil. Against New Zealand, to beat them, you've got to hold the ball. They've got so much attacking power, they can score from anywhere. You just got to deny them possession and just keep recycling the ball and earn every point you get. And then equally in defence, when they have with the ball, we've got to aim up. And that was the difference between the first and the second test. Missed tackles and we made more errors. And I am really encouraged by our front row. I think we've got a really good scrummaging front row. I think we've got some amazing ball runners. I think the luxury of having both Turinui and Allen Alatoa is awesome. They're 2 world-class tight head props, and I think you've got to share the love between both of them. The way that Test rugby is, or rugby is now, you've got to share that love, and you got to, it's going to be whoever starts, whoever finishes, doesn't matter, And in some ways, to have Turinui coming on at half time, fresh and running the ball, I know I wouldn't want to tackle him. He is an awesome player, and Alan's just a quality and proven performer, and I think that's a real strength of the Wallabies side now, front row.
I think Euro Simone is the logical one. Proven form through Super Rugby AU with the Brumbies in a good side. If we do see someone like a Lolosio at the back end of the game, they have that combination. I think he's the one that can do both things. Solid in defence, creating good short passing game, but can also be a physical runner. I think it's really interesting how important Matt Tamil has become to a Wallaby setup in almost 12 months. 12 months ago he was an intermittent starter and we weren't quite sure his best position, and he's quickly become the crucial element to Wallabies backline. So there's a great opportunity, but also a great responsibility for Euro Simone coming in there. That'd be huge. The Wallabies' job is to win silverware for us, and the big trophy behind us is as important as it gets. From that rivalry between Australia and New Zealand, our closest neighbour, our brother in rugby, and it is, as I mentioned before, they are the benchmark. So winning that, being better than them in a 3 or a 4 test series, is just a great consolidation of the fact you're doing the right things on the field. It's a measure to say, well, that's the standard we're at, that's the standard required, and we're as good as the best in the world. All Blacks have a very good record at Homebush. We have an excellent record at Suncorp, so it's a really big opportunity this weekend to turn that history around. Ian Foster's first test match away from home, but they're quite a settled group. I just think this bit of silverware would mean a lot all the way through the game, and to say that the Wallabies are on the right track. We've had a tough year. I think we're all just happy that there's test footy. We're happy that we can go and watch a game with the Wallabies involved. If we can get a result out of it, it'll be a huge boost for the game. We're not far off announcing what the future of our game looks like in terms of broadcast. Having that to defend would be huge. I was interested in a guy like Harry Wilson's comments about having historical success in underage teams against New Zealand teams. And there have been periods, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, where that was the case as well. Australia won a few of the 21s tournaments, or went to the final of the 21s, having beaten New Zealand on the way through semis, having beaten them at schoolboy level. So you look at Harry Wilson, won at schoolboy level, won that Oceania tournament with the 20s. So he has historical success against the black jersey. Now, different players, same crest, same silver fern, those experiences are probably a good thing. Even the draw in your first experience shows it, oh, you know what, we can go toe to toe. So if we have a mix of those sorts of guys that don't have historical bad experience against the All Blacks, I think that's a positive. And then a new coaching regime, new head coach, all these sorts of new elements, it just brings a fresh approach. There's no deja vu, you go, oh, here we go again. So I think sometimes you're clutching at things like that, but that's something we can grasp a hold of, I would have thought.